The Conspiracy is a found footage thriller film. I didn't know much about this, but it was recommended, I think, by Possessed by Horror Sarah on YouTube. This one was on Prime, so I put it on. It's been on my list for a while. We're following Aaron and Jim. They are two documentary filmmakers who are interviewing a man who was running around Toronto screaming with a bullhorn about something, so they decide to interview him. Terrence G, probably not his real name, but they hang out with him for a little bit and try to get a feel for why he's a conspiracy theorist and like all the different things that he likes to do. And he's got everything leading back to the Lusitania being sunken during a war, stuff that happened hundreds of years ago, all connected to all these different things, all these events, you know. He's really out there, and you know, they explain some interesting world building, like all the little forums he likes to go to. Doesn't really have any friends except for people online, and all the different things on the wall. You got all the newspaper clippings and everything. But then Terrence disappears, and it really freaks out the two filmmakers. One of them cares a lot. One of them doesn't really care anymore. One of them starts, you know, digging through all the trash and finds out that Terrence was investigating a group called the Tarsus Group. They're a really interesting group of rich elites, politicians, and they dress up and have meetings, but every time they have a meeting, there's a major world event that rocks the economy or the world in some way. So one of them really gets into it, and they end up trying to infiltrate the Tarsus Group, and that's sort of the main plot. And they meet up with a guy who knows them, and he's undercover, and they have to get in there. This one's okay, to be honest. I thought the movie was more interesting in the first half, when it's just talking to Terrence about stuff. But when they start actually investigating on their own and being like, do we know that guy? He's been following us, and that Range Rover's been out there for 45 minutes. It really doesn't seem that exciting, to be honest, because everything's got to be handheld. And then they finally get into the party, and it's not that interesting, to be honest. I thought the ending could have been darker or better. To be honest, it's a solid effort, though. It's a cheap film. It's you know, it's definitely a good effort, but overall could have been a little bit more exciting. So I give The Conspiracy a 5 out of 10.